Alrighty, I'm doing an AI demo today, and disclaimer, this is non-deterministic, so hopefully it shows what I want it to, but the AI might not validate what my demo is. But my demo is essentially that I added this new feature flag called AI content as context. You can append that to any URL on the chat page, the workbook, the dashboard, and it's going to anytime you ask a question, it's going to scan through your content on the instance and use that as context to answer the question. So I have one OmniApp chat here with that flag and one without it. And I want to do this on production data because it's more generally easier to show complex queries on production data, but it's going to hopefully look at data that's not insensitive, assuming it does what I expect it to. So the question is, can you show me how much each support person is taking on each week and the average per week over all time? So bit of an ambiguous question, but really I just want to see support load by person on the support team. So let's ask that without the flag. At the same time, let's ask it with the flag and see if the AI produces different results when it's using.
Gustav, while it's loading, when you say take the content, what do you mean?
It'll look at all the dashboards and queries built on the topic that it's generating a query for.
Hmm.
Their titles, descriptions, subtitles, and then the queries without the data.
Okay,
And then will use that to feed into the result that it produces.
cool.
So this is what it produced with the flag here. And let's come back, and it actually produced, at the surface level, something that seems similar. But let's actually dive into the data here. So without the flag, it looks like it has the assignees, the counts per week. But because it didn't pivot the data, it only goes back 1,000 rows. So you only got to March 10th. Whereas in this one, I guess it didn't pivot it as well. That is a bummer. Let me try running it one more time. But I would expect it to have seen the content that's doing something similar to this question, and then realizing that it can pivot and potentially add a total as well, to get a better result. If it doesn't work the second time, I do have like a previous demo that I recorded showing this. No, I've got it wrong the second time. That's a bummer. So I'll show the previous demo that I did right before hopping on, which is I asked the same question, and without the flag, I got this answer, which was not very helpful. It was very hard to read for a human, and the summary was somewhat useful, but again, the data got truncated. And then when I asked it with the flag, it got a much stronger result, which was breaking it out by week, using a pivot on each individual person taking support tickets. And the place that it got this result from was we have a support load dashboard here, which produces this chart here. And so if I were to click explore from here on this generated chart, I would have gotten to this page. And then if I turn it into a stack chart, it would look something like this. So sometimes the AI still doesn't, get the exact correct result. But in this case, like the meaningful difference was that with the content, it pivoted and added a total. Whereas without this flag, I've never seen it be able to get a pivot or add a total. It always just produces this basic result. So bummed it didn't work on the demo, but I'd encourage, if you're seeing the AI produce results that aren't quite what you'd expect, maybe throw this feature flag on and see if it improves the output.
And Gustav, is the theory here is that existing content is a good, like, almost like a training set, because if someone's building dashboards and they're getting a lot of usage, theoretically that dashboard or that query answers the question they were intending to ask. And so the theory here is use that as context to, like, as a shortcut to somebody going and generating a bunch of sample queries manually.
Yeah, that's exactly the idea. And this is an experiment, right? So if it doesn't work, I'll remove the flag and remove it. But I'm trying to get some validation on against like really complex models. Can you use content to get it to produce a better result. And of course, during demo, it's falling over right now, but I'd be curious to have people try it and let me know how it is.
Gustav, could we, like, I don't know if it's at this time or thought for future, but is the idea that we could also like link to that dashboard or that piece of content in here?
Yeah, you could. So I've been thinking about how to show that. And one thought is like sources. So when you generate or get a query, it'd be easy to put in like a list of 3 to 5 sources for, oh, it pulled this query from this dashboard and this query from this dashboard as inspiration.
Yeah. And then would it only be on, I guess, could you just ask it more generally, or is it more specific to, you know, the analytics based question? Like, hey, I want to see all the reports that, you know, you answer whatever revenue questions with. Could it be more generalized, or is it more specific at this point?
It's more specific right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be more generalized. Like, yeah, it's set up to become like a search function if we want it to be, sort of in the way that you're talking about. But really, for now, it's just about validating, can we improve query results with content?
Perfect. Thanks.
This is Becca. Gustav, this is Rad. I was curious how you're thinking about approaching like prioritization. Like, are you thinking that like the content would be like the first thing that the AI would look at, or would it come like after other things that are set?
It's additive, so it's still going to use your AI context and your sample queries and everything else that is already there. It's just if you have this flag, it's going to drop it in with everything else, kind of like as an equal factor in determining how to generate the query. It does prioritize content and queries based on view count right now. But we could also do things like, you know, favorited dashboards have a higher weighting, so their queries are going to be more impactful in generation.
And then currently the scope would be anything that user has access to from a content perspective.
Yeah, it'll never be putting stuff the user doesn't have access to into the samples or the example queries.
I guess I was just more thinking of like curation, where like maybe there's things I've built, but those shouldn't be included because they're not vetted by the company yet or something like that. But right now it's just everything that the user has access to.
We're going to iterate on it. This is we're the highest level. We want to use usage to effectively imply context. So maybe sort of that will be the sort of the broader trend. So I'm super excited about the direction. And I've got one more smaller